Hello, at the time being about 6 o'clock. We're going to call the Town Building Committee meeting to order for February 19th, 2025. First on the agenda, we have W.T. Rich Company with updates.
Yes, so schedule up here, just a quick overview. Some things we completed so far in the public safety building, the slab on grade detention area. So that's where all the jail cells are, and the police sally port. So we got that slab down. The interior stairs of the public safety building, so all the mist metal stairs with the concrete stair treads. The app base upgrade is prepped currently, so they're putting the insulation down and getting ready for that slab pour coming up in April. And the SIP panels on the public safety public safety building. So we've got that roof pretty well enclosed now. We're considered weather tight in the public safety building. So the MEPs have begun. We're actually starting pulling wire. Got the approval from the electrical inspector the other day that Griffin's good to go. So moving along there. Town Hall building, the SIP panels are underway. Weather's been an issue between wind and snow and whatnot, but doing our best to keep that roof moving over there. Kind of back to the public safety building. Windows are showing up in either, if they don't show up the end of this week, it'll be next week. We're going to start installing windows at the public safety building. As we're going to follow the mason who's going counterclockwise around the building with his facade, making really good progress there. And upcoming in Town Hall, we're going to still have one slab to place in the multipurpose room and the air handler unit slabs that go up in the attic. So those will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. So that's really the big overview. Really coming up will be more of the facade around the Town Hall building and the mechanicals inside the Town Hall building as well. Any questions?
Folks, questions? Any issues with the public, the town hall still not, you're still working on the SIP panels for that? Does that slow anything else down?
Yeah, they're making good progress. We are, call it substantially complete with the SIP panels, but there's the layer of blocking and sheathing that has to go on top of that. So there's snow and ice all over the SIPs, which we've tried to clear, but it kind of keeps happening. So,
but it's not preventing interior framing from going on, which is the next step.
Right.
So,
yep, the first floor, and I don't think I mentioned that, but the first floor, the framing walls currently.
yeah. Soon it will be an issue because you're going to want to start getting in there to do rough-in, and you won't be weather tight.
Correct. But I think, looks like the weather's going to break next week with some better temperatures, so we'll keep at it, and like you mentioned, we'll really 99% chance we'll be there on Saturday, taking advantage of good weather for the roofing activities. So it's nothing else on schedule. Contingency update, we're in really good shape. We've added some buyout to contingency recently. Still remaining 1.8, almost 1.9 million remaining in CM contingency, so very healthy there. Same thing with allowances. The remaining balance, 2.3 million just about. So again, in terms of allowances, we're in really good shape. We are going through our winter conditions budgets between fuel and winter protections, but we're still in good shape there. And I believe so far change orders 1 through 3, $209,011 in authorized change orders, so not too bad there. We do have a fourth that I believe was getting
Tonight?
signed. We'll get
Yep.
signed tonight.
Well, we'll get it, we're going to present it and
Present
get
it.
the building committee's recommendation
Right.
to approve the select board.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, anything else?
That's all, just buyout, we're, no real changes there, we're just down to final cleaning at this point. Permit status, we're just waiting on Griffin Electric's fire alarm permits, they're in for review, just waiting for those to get turned around.
They were just recently submitted because they had to go through
They had to go through the
shop
design
drawings.
team. Yeah.
Had to go through 2 rounds and once they're approved, then they can be submitted. So it's not late, we're sort of just working through the process.
Right.
Yep.
All right, we
Alright.
talked schedule, so I think that's good. Guys, any other questions before we move on? Ryan, PCA 360, the floor is yours.
Okay. All right, so we'll give you a quick overview of the project. I handed out to you a copy of our OPM monthly report that we issued earlier in the month of January. So you have that, or it covers the month of January, sorry. It went out to you early in February, my mistake. So I'm going to present the detail from that report. Project schedule, as Matt said, I have the same schedule up here. It's all good news in terms of the schedule. Everything is tracking. This is what Matt originally showed us in May, so everything is still as it was originally planned. So that's always a good thing. We're on schedule. And we got an update from Matt once a month. So the last one that was issued was for the month of January and early February. And so nothing's really changed on the longest path, which is the critical path on the project, runs through the electrical equipment. And at the moment, everything is on schedule. It's going to be here, in the summer. And so everything should work out just fine. I mean, the one thing that I would highlight on this is that there is no float right now in the schedule. So if anything changes that we don't anticipate, it will have an impact. If it hits this critical path in the schedule. If it hits somewhere else in the schedule, we can absorb it. But if it's, so the electrical is the thing that we're watching. Windows was another one that we were kind of concerned, but we just got good news that the windows are coming in early. So that's that. So in the last update I just emailed to you, I put their full detail schedule update in the back of my report, so you have that. It's a very, it's like 20 some odd pages. I didn't print it out for you tonight. The time-lapse video, we have 2 cameras. I've only been showing you one. This is the one that looks towards Town Hall. And in the beginning, with the dirt pile, there wasn't a whole lot to see. So now the dirt pile is gone, and you can see the Town Hall building, and the distance is now starting to really take shape. And you can see snow shows up a couple times in the video. And it's been cold, it's been snowy, but they've been doing a good job keeping the pace of the project. And then the one at public safety, same thing. This is a day-by-day progression on the time lapse. We put these up on the web page for the project. They get updated between every 1 to 2 weeks, so it's fairly current in there, and it's pretty neat to see. So I have some close-up video or photos of the exterior. You can now start to see the finish of the exterior masonry, which is really nice to see. So here is an exterior view of the public safety building. You can see this is the police end of the building. The first floor, the brick of the new building is now there, and the water table is there. It looks really beautiful. Even the day after I took this photo today, they've already got the scaffolding away from in front of it, so you can actually really see. And the signage that says Middleton Police is now up on that pediment, so they actually have all that brick is up there, so it's you're going to see that real soon. So it's coming together nice.
And so now they're moving to that left-hand side, that's the tent, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, they were already pretty far along in that left-hand side. They're moving to the right. So that scaffolding that you see in the far left is going to come down, and they're going to move it around to the front. So they're just working their way right around.
Great.
Oop, here's a little bit closer view. You can't quite get the full effect because you can't see the water table, but and it's not cleaned yet. It's too cold to wash the masonry, so you get all the mortar and whatnot. But when it's all cleaned, it's going to be more uniform. But the brick is really nice. It's got a good shape to it. It's somewhat irregular. It has an older look to it. Doesn't look like modern, straight cut. So it's nice.
It does really look, I got to see it close up yesterday. It does really give the vibe of the older part of the Flint when you're up close, which is great.
So this is just showing the first floor of the public safety. It's a beehive of activity with the amount of mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection, all kinds of work going on in the interior. I only took one view just to give you a feel for it, but there's a lot of workers in there. This is the apparatus bay on the first floor. You can see they've got it all graded. The trench drains are in. The insulation's going down. Pretty soon they're going to be putting the vapor barrier down, and then the mesh, reinforcing mesh, and then the electrical radiant floor is going to go down on over that, and then the concrete, which is early March is the tentative plan.
April.
Is it April?
Yeah.
I thought it was March, early March. Sorry, my bad.
We're almost in, almost that much.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's going to
not-
take them a little while to get the radio.
There is a lot of work. It's a
Yeah.
big area.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see from the photo, it's a very large space.
Yeah.
Second floor of public safety, they're just beginning to do the wall framing, so that's going to be going on now, and then the rough-in will follow.
Was that the police side?
That's the police side that you were looking at. So here's the front of the town hall building, and you can see this silver air vapor barrier is up. All the window openings are filled in with temporary protection. The area on the right is the multipurpose room at the community center. We're just waiting on some panels that are needed so that roof dormer can be finished, and then the rest of that will be finished. So second floor, first floor of the town hall is all heated except for the multi-purpose room. That's all segregated. First floor of town hall, they're working on wall framing. So you can see the vault in the distance, and on the right is the offices. So this would be walking in the front door looking to the left. The second floor, not a whole lot has changed, so I didn't provide an updated photo there. And as I mentioned, the website is, new photos are uploaded. We continue to add blog posts in there, so the website is current. We get pretty good traffic on it, about 300 to 400 visits a month, which is great. Budget update. The good news is I went through and just checked all of our uncommitted and so forth. So on administration, which is OPM, everything we have in the budget is spoken for, so there's nothing uncommitted. On the architecture engineering, basically the same thing. I just have a little bit of money left over in the line item we use for any additional services requests, a few $100s. So really, everything in these two parts of the budget are fully spoken for. The next one is, some of our other project costs. We have some scopes of work that we're working on getting finalized now. So let's see, regulatory permitting, we're going to have another, the eagles are not in the nest, they're not actually back, but we will have to submit a report. So we have some money in there for our observer to do that. Construction material testing, this $20,000 that's left is for exterior testing, the envelope, the windows and so forth, water testing. Communication tower, we have about $107,000 remaining in the budget. And some of that Captain Duchesne's working on right now, getting some additional antennas and equipment. We did purchase quite a bit through Motorola, so that is now reflected in here. We still have 107 remaining in that, but that's really, when I say communication tower, it's sort of all the radio equipment and everything for communications. We'll probably use some of this for migrating over the 100 mil circuits over to the public safety. There's some work that we have to do to the system. Station alerting, you'll see a little later in the presentation, I'm starting to move money into that line. I didn't have anything in there. So I had some other uncommitted monies that I knew I wasn't going to need, so I started moving them down. We're working with LW Bills right now on getting a proposal, so we're pretty close. I think it's going to be a little north of $20,000, but we still have plenty of money in our contingencies to fund that. So furniture, fixtures, and equipment, I think we now have a meeting on the books with Context, who's going to be managing the furniture procurement and selection. So that's early March. That's going to be beginning, so perfect timing. So that's just our budget that we've had from the very beginning. And then technology and computers, similar thing. I know Jackie has been working very closely with Danvers IT to start to really flush out what it is that we're going to need and starting to put numbers to that. So I know that's all starting to come to fruition. And I know you have a goal to try and leave money in this budget. So I know that's, even though it's in there, none of it's committed just yet. And everything else has been spoken for. And then on our construction, it's our contract. You'll see next our contingencies. So just a quick overview on where we stand. So on owner contingencies, that's construction and soft costs, are about $5 million. And as Matt mentioned to you, he's got about $5 million in uncommitted money within his contract. So, it's still early in the project. We're about 35% build and construction, so there's still a lot of construction to happen. So I'm not going to make any promises that that's all available, but the project is tracking quite well in terms of contingencies. Just about 10 million uncommitted right now, so that's good. Some budget transfers that I made this month. We moved some money from our hard cost contingency just to, we had change order 3. We had an adjustment that was made at our last presentation to you, so that's just to cover that. And then we moved a small amount of money into utility costs just to zero out that line. And then we had $165,000, which was originally the owner's insurance for builder's risk, which we put into W.T. Rich's contract, so we moved that out of that. We didn't need to leave it in that line, so we pushed it down to owner contingency. And then we took the $45,000 out of legal for now, pushed it in contingency, just to kind of clean up the budget so we knew what we had for contingencies. And then we had some soils and hazmat testing and monitoring that we didn't need, so we moved that out and put it into the fire station alerting. And then borings to profile site, we didn't need that anymore. We moved that to fire station alerting, so that's how I was able to put $20,000 in there. And then we have change order number 3, again, another adjustment. So when we make those approvals, we adjust with the hard cost contingency. So we moved $158,000. So pretty minor moves overall in the budget. We're doing quite well. Cash flow, this is sort of the curve that we're looking at. Everything in purple is what we've actually spent versus our projection. And then we have no additional services requests for you this month. PCOs, I'm going to actually present them to you in the next section when we do change order 4. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the highlighted ones. These are ones that are pending that we're tracking right now. So PCO 28, we have handicap activator switches. Matt's working on getting some alternative pricing. Our electrical engineer had a different way of approaching the coordination item, so it should save us some money. We think we should be able to get this number down. I don't know, you haven't got anything yet?
I haven't got anything yet, no.
I know we're close. So yeah, that number should come down. PCO 48, this is the exterior sheathing. We had a deflection issue that we were trying to resolve. W.T. Rich was able to work it out with Sweeney Drywall, so this actually goes away. So that's no longer going to come to fruition. Vehicle exhaust system changes, I think you just got that back yesterday, and you were going to get us an updated.
Yeah, I just sent that
PCOs.
today.
You just sent it in,
Yep.
so I don't even know what that number is yet. So we think this number, it may adjust depending on the information we got. And And then this one here, Matt's going to, our Miss Metals gave us this number. We think we can do it better with TC Iron, who did the original steel fabrication. So we're gonna see if we can get another price that's better than this, so that he's working on that. Exterior cladding change, this is something we're working on. It was a structural steel that was required to support masonry. We looked at an option to make it cladding with siding. Turned out to be more expensive than we thought, so we're gonna go back to just keep it as it was designed and just add steel. So Matt's gonna work on getting a better number there. This breaker change, that's just, again, coordination. When we go out to bid, we have a certain scope based on one manufacturer, but when you go out and actually award, the bidder gets the option to pick a different manufacturer. So some of the breaker changes change size depending on the equipment. So you always are gonna end up with some of these minor breaker change costs. So we already have an allowance in GMP. That'll cover that. And then this RFI 256, that was the initial cost from the Miss Metals. We've already sort of pushed back on that, so Matt's gonna go to bat for us and try and make that go away. So these are some of the things that are going on in the background that we're trying, before you even see the PCO, we have some preliminary numbers, but we work hard to either make them go away or reduce them in a couple different ways.
Was the exhaust system changes, that was at the magnetic? Or the,
But it's a track and rail too. The original design had a certain mix, but Chief wanted to add flexibility
right,
to
as others,
the bays.
as other departments lend their, or have their equipment there.
Yeah, so we now end up with the ability to have 3 or 4 of the bays can be set up with the vehicles going same direction or
Yeah, and-
opposite direction.
Okay.
So it just added more flexibility
Yeah.
to the operation of the station, in addition to the pneumatic versus the magnetic. But we have some additional information that we requested from the vendor that just came in. So I think it was yesterday, so we haven't had time to look at it.
That's still more changes from when I think it was maybe 2 months ago, I think, or 3 months ago, that there was I remember I was here for that, I was
Yep.
here last month. so
It was all the same thing. I
Okay.
don't know how we characterize it to you, if we talked about the rails and track versus, but
Fine.
it was definitely the right solution now that we got into it.
Okay.
Now that we have the vendor, we could work with them on making the system work, for the fire station.
Thank you.
All right, change order 4. This is aggregates PCOs that were approved in the last month. So since I met with you last, these are the ones that we have in front of us. So the largest is the Mel generator scope, which we talked about, 240,000. This is the changes to the site. We had an offsetting deduct change order. I think it was change order 2, which was like a negative 209. So the reality is the impact is quite small because there was 2 different changes, one that was an add, one that was a credit. And then the rest of these are all allowance draws within GMP. So really, when we have an allowance, we know there was going to be some coordination in the field that we would have to work out. So this was a footing change for utilities, stormwater revisions based on peer review, public safety Tier 3 support. This was, it had to do with the cantilever design versus a post. So it was really just a structural steel allowance we had within GMP covered this. Similar, we had a coordination issue with steel and conflicting with the truss, so we had to go and use the allowance there for that. And then the public safety building, the flat roof area behind the fire station, we needed a different drain. So the plumbing drawings had one style, the architecture had a different, so there was a scope gap there, which was covered by GMP. So no increases to the GMP contract with WT Ridge for any of these, except for this one, which was for Middleton. Okay. So the total increase is $240,130 to the contract. So that's what we're looking for. Your approval to the select board for tonight. So do you want to vote on that now, or do you
I
want
think we
to?
probably do, yeah, unless anybody has questions. Well, makes sense. I've seen all this, so.
Yep.
All right, I'm happy to take a motion to approve change order number 4.
I move that we recommend change order number 4 to the select board.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, thanks. The last action item I have for you is construction requisition for payment. I can't even read it on my screen. I have to read it here. So this was just approved this week and certified by Context Architecture. So this is ready to go for processing, $2,667,339. So this is, as I showed you the cash flow, fully expected. This has been reviewed by PCA 360, Context, also WT Rich. So we've already been through a pretty extensive process of reviewing and vetting this. So it's the team's recommendation that this be accepted and presented for payment.
Folks, questions? Seeing a lot of shaking no's. Can I get a motion to approve construction rec number 8?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So I think the other items on my list, Mass DOT permit status. We did receive the permit from Mass DOT. I think if we rewound the tape, when I told you I thought it'd be 4 to 5 months, you laughed at me.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
14 months to get a
Sounds
permit
close.
from Mass DOT. So, yep.
Does that address Frank's issue?
It's a different permit altogether. It does not.
Okay.
Yeah. There is quite a few provisions in the permit, so we're working through that with WT Rich and Jay Dorenzo is responsible for all the site work in the street. So we are going to convene a meeting with our traffic engineer, GPI, to help us interpret some of the comments and then maybe go back to Mass DOT for some clarification. So
Okay.
would you want to be part of that call?
I can tag in, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it might be good to have you on that. And let's see, no update for the communication tower. Everything's sort of on hold at this point until the summertime. And alerting vendor, I mentioned, LW Bills is who we're working with. We're very close to getting a proposal for the learning system. And that is all.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Brian. All right, context, your updates.
Awesome. As you know, last meeting we approved finishes, so we've been working through getting those returned to WT Rich, and are going to be issuing the full schedule of where each finish goes in every room. We continue to review submittals and RFIs as they come. We've had one site visit since our last meeting by GGD. We continue to go each week, and as Brian mentioned, on March 4th, we have our first FF&E meeting where we're going to go over the furniture layout as compared to the space summary document. We'll also be presenting some furniture line cards to get a feel for looks and styles of furniture, and then start scheduling showroom tours to make selections and prepare a budget.
Okay. So we're at least, someone's taking a look at stuff that obviously doesn't need to be purchased, I'm assuming? If somebody has a new desk, we're not buying them a new desk, right?
Correct.
Okay, just want to make sure that that's happening. If we could just get like a summary, just so folks know. I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
everyone's
there's
watching these, so.
not a lot of high-quality stuff moving. We have
Yeah.
a lot of older items.
I've
so
seen, I mean, you need a new one. That thing's ridiculous.
It is falling apart actually even worse than the last time anyone's been
Yeah,
in.
there's definitely a need, no doubt. I just want to make sure,
Yeah,
for
so
the
I
folks
think
that know, you know, that there's some
there's
stuff that's decent.
some like
so.
fire-rated filing cabinets that can move. Odds and ends, and then a lot of like decor will move, like historical decor and displays and things like that. So, but we are going to sit down and go over the layout first because we also want to make sure it's physically going to fit.
Cool, makes sense. Yeah, I just want to make sure the folks know, that's all.
Yeah.
Minimizing waste.
That's the idea, yep. You know it.
And I think DPW will get the pick of the best of what doesn't fit too, which is great for them.
Okay. All right. Any questions, folks? All right, well, there's no shaking. We're talking about next meeting. Actually, I'm sorry, we got meeting minutes from the 22nd. Do we have a copy of those?
They were distributed by Brian.
Oh, that's right. So, somebody want to make a motion to approve? Any edits? What do you want to do?
Make a motion to approve, there was an adjustment to the minutes, and I guess that's what we'd be approving.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so
So moved.
moving that, okay. Second? Yeah, second from Kyle, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Anything else, folks, before we wrap this up?
Mr. Chair, we do need some more meeting dates. Are Wednesdays still generally good for the group across the board? And I can send them out via email, but Wednesday's still working for everybody generally? 6 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. we can do
Because this is our last one that we've had on the books for a while, so we need to do some scheduling.
that. So we're kind of doing second, or third? What are we looking at?
We've been doing the second or the third depending on need, so Brian, I can touch base with you tomorrow maybe. We don't want to schedule more than we need, but we'll maybe set something up so we can be scheduled through June, if that's amenable.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you give us, so we can at least mark it off
Yeah,
in the event that you're gonna go ahead with it, yeah.
that's the goal, and we'll try to do that through June, and then maybe do one in the summer, do a lighter schedule, and then pick back up in the fall.
Cool. I'm down with that. Sound good, folks? All right,
Thank you.
take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Thanks, everybody, appreciate it. Have a good day.